Every champion in this life has a degree of stubbornness. Yes, you heard me right. It takes stubbornness sometimes to obey God. That is, being stubborn to man to obey God in some instances. Look at the Hebrew young men going into the fiery furnace, for instance, Daniel going into the lion's den. It was stubbornness, right? But that stubbornness was to glorify God. I have realized in this life that if you want to be obedient to men at all times, you will be going contrary to the will of God for your life. And the reason why many people have not lived their dreams, have not started living their dreams, is because what God is impressing in their heart is contrary to the expectation of men for their lives. So men will want you to play safe, right? I remember when I accepted the call to go into missions. I was the first graduate of my family. And one of my uncles who had so much hope for me, who had so much expectations of me, thinking that as the first graduate of the family, I will do something reasonable to make them proud. And then all of a sudden, he heard that I went to missions. The man was so angry, called my father, and said, tell that boy to come back immediately. Let him come back. It's better he is farming that we are seeing him. We know that. But that was what God wanted me to do. So if I had obeyed a man, I wouldn't have touched the lives by God's grace I've touched so far in the work I'm doing. Many years ago, I started writing. I loved reading and writing. So when I started my journey into writing, I took a manuscript of my book to a very respected man of God I looked up to. He loved me, you know. I wanted him to proofread my manuscript. He looked at it with disdain because he himself had not written any book as at that time. I don't know whether he has written now. He looked at me and said, Bro Oscar, you see, I wouldn't want you to publish a book that some years later when you see it, you will be like, what have I done? I left that place as if they poured cold water on me. Some people, you don't need to share your vision with them. I just tell you the truth. I came back, kept the manuscript for some weeks, but later that stubborn spirit came on me. I got up and I said, let me do it. I went ahead and I published my book. Trust me, that book blessed me. That book touched lives. That book brought financial fortune to me. In fact, the highest amount of money I had ever seen at that time came from that book. What if I listened to the counsel of a well-meaning person? Yeah, the book had some, typing errors, grammatical errors, and so on. But I listened to Bishop Oyedepo recently. He said some of the books he wrote, if he's going to write them again this time around, they will come with a more, uh, a better presentation. Trying to, quote him. So what is that? That's why you hear first, second, and third editions of a book. So why shouldn't I start something? And as I'm talking right now, some of you have manuscripts. I've met people that have more than 10 manuscripts of books they have written complete from chapter 1 to the end. They have never published them. They are like, if I write, who read all of this? No. Sometimes you get to go against all odds. I've published 5 books now, and every one of them have brought tons of testimonies, right? So what is God telling you to do that you are trying to please everybody around? If you please everybody around, you will displease God. That's the truth of the matter. That's the truth of the matter. When we started Lintos Academy 5 years ago, somebody walked up to me and said, bro, you are so ambitious. But let me tell you the truth. Education is capital intensive. This thing you are venturing into, and the way you are doing it by faith-based, it's going to be very difficult. I will advise you to think twice and listen to him. I respected him, but we went ahead. Today, it is just a story. The things that have happened today, if I was waiting for the perfect day will never come. I can tell you, that perfect day does not come. The perfect day is today. get up and start. Start from somewhere. Always start with what you have. The first book I published, I I printed that book. I think I spent 40,000 and I printed, was it 100 copies or so? That time, many years ago, right? But today, it's a story. I'm a proud author, touching lives all over the place, with testimonies coming in by the grace of God. But if I had listened to the counsel of people who mean well, who are waiting to write a perfect book, I wouldn't have done anything till today. What is God telling you to do that you are looking up to people, expecting the applause of everybody? Let me shock you. No matter how long you wait, you cannot please everybody. Even if you write that book at 80, it will still not meet the standard of some people. Some people will still see what to criticize in it. So go ahead and start now.